What number podcast is this? I don't know. I asked last time, and I can't remember.
And I got it wrong, so I'm not going to say again.
Roughly. Ballpark it.
I think we're at 44.
Oh, good. I like the number 4. It's a lucky number. It's good.
Really?
Yeah.
In Asian culture, that's a terrible number.
Oh. Did I insult you? I
No.
apologize.
No, it means death.
Oh, okay. Well,
But that's just superstition.
yeah.
And I'm not superstitious.
Maybe it appeals to my dark side.
Yeah?
Maybe.
Didn't know you had one.
Well, that's for another podcast.
Okay, I think we're finally ready. Sorry, Katie, but the setup is just...
It's fine.
So
Deane.
So Kaydee Deane.
Grade 9, Delview Secondary.
Grade 9. I haven't interviewed a lot of grade 9s in the past, so...
Hooray, I'm interesting.
Yes, you are.
And I have to admit that I hang out with Katie for about 2.5 hours a day, every day.
Yeah.
And I know very little about her, other than that she sometimes brings a really nice guitar to class. That's about, I don't know too much else.
Well, have you seen her performances?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I know,
So you know that.
I know that small bit, but I don't know much else. So I'm here to learn.
That's why we do this thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
People of Delview.
You see people in the classroom, it's different.
It is different. Yeah.
It's different. So, Katie, what I know about you is, I taught you science, and then I started seeing you seemed really interested in music. I started playing songs in class. You seemed really interested in that. And then you started talking about how you were a fan of certain types of music. What are some of your favorite bands at the moment? I know I think we connected when you said you were interested in the Beatles.
Yeah.
And I love the Beatles.
Yeah. And also Radiohead. That was a big one.
Right.
Yeah, I have a lot of favorite bands. And also with Spotify, you can listen to a lot of different songs from different artists, and like they could be artists that you don't even really know. So I've been doing that a lot because Spotify is great. But
we're on Spotify.
Wow, fancy.
So
You can listen to this podcast.
maybe they'll pay us. No, they won't. But that's the cool thing about nowadays. You can sample anything you want, and you just, you could even call out a tune and it'll just start playing it, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah, when it works. Yeah. But one thing that sometimes I have difficulty with is like discovering new music. How do you go about doing that?
So with Spotify, it's a lot easier because they make playlists recommended for you. So that's how I find random songs, and sometimes I'll check out the artists and see if I like anything else. But I find that a lot of the time I don't like the other music by these artists. Not sure why, but that's just how it goes. And another thing is, I hate to say it, but TikTok, sometimes there's good music. I don't have TikTok. I would rather not have it. But
Just because it takes a lot of time.
There's a lot of reasons. Why I don't really want it. But
Okay.
I use Pinterest a lot because I enjoy that. I think it's fun. And sometimes you'll see TikToks on Pinterest.
Really?
And so, yeah, I guess people do that. But
I thought it was just for pictures.
Pinterest has videos and stuff too.
Do they? I didn't know that.
I use, so if I see a video or something with a cool song, I'll just like Shazam it, look it up. My dad is, he has a hard time finding new music. So sometimes I'll help him out with that and just introduce him to the stuff I know. But yeah, I'd say my main thing is like Spotify for new music. But I think most of the music I listen to is from my dad and my mom. But yeah, just growing up listening to certain things. And
so they of course they listen to older music, and that's how you got into the Beatles and Radiohead and all of that.
Yeah, so it kind of ranges. I also really like The Doors, which is like old. And the reason why I like The Doors is because my dad listened to them growing up, so it's kind of nostalgic for me. And yeah, that is music that my grandparents also listened to. So it's kind of nice to have that connection with my grandparents. Yeah. And also finding other people who like older music, it's really nice, especially at this age. You don't meet very many people that have a wide variety of music that they listen to.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I mean, not that there's anything wrong with newer music necessarily, but I do have my opinions. I think, yeah, I don't know. I listen to kind of everything. Yeah, there's also like early 2000s, like late 90s music, which is like, I guess Radiohead could fit in there, and like, yeah, Nirvana, stuff like that.
I have a hard time sometimes, like, because I like my older music. I like the Beatles. I like Radiohead. There's certain bands I just keep listening to, and so when it comes to finding new stuff, yeah, you're right. I'm not on Spotify. I have Apple Music, and sometimes they have stuff that pops up, or, well, I find new music from other people, like you said, like Mr. Sally has a playlist. I'm like, oh, this is cool stuff. How come I didn't know about these people, right? Or actually, a lot of times, like you said, Shazamming things that I hear in the mall, right? Walking by, oh, what's that? I need that, right? And then you can get it right away. That's pretty cool.
I still listen to the radio, like in the car.
Yeah,
I listen to FM radio, and I find that you pick up new stuff from there. And
right.
Yeah, I use Apple Music too. And I like that because now, like when a playlist ends, they'll just keep playing music, which is a somewhat new feature on Apple Music, and it'll give you recommendations. And once in a while, I hear something, I'm like, oh, that's neat, and I'll save that. And
right.
I used to read a lot of music blogs as well, and that used to have like MP3s, and this is going back like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Not so much that anymore. But yeah, lots of different ways.
I know on Apple Music there are shows, like Elton John has the Rocket Hour on Apple Music, and I find that he recommends a lot of good stuff. And then when you listen to the song on his show, you can actually just add it to your playlist, which is kind of convenient. Yeah. So you have an eclectic taste in music, and you mentioned that not a lot of kids your age have such a wide variety of tastes. And you think that has something to do with your parents and what they were into and getting you into that? Yeah,
well, what I said was kind of just a generalization of what I hear around. I think, yeah, people just like, the thing about new music is just like, it to me, it just sounds very like copy and pasted. A lot of it sounds very similar, and with older music, it's just like there's something so like beautiful about the imperfections, but now it's all like auto-tuned and like I remember my dad, he often tells me this story. Well, I've heard it a lot. He was in a band when he was younger, and he was in a band with his older brother, and he played the drums. And there was this song that they recorded, and the drum track he really liked. There were like lots of fast hi-hats, and like the entire time it was like a hi-hat that was like going really fast. And of course it wasn't perfect, but like it wasn't perfect because it's a human doing it. But then apparently like the producers or something, they or like people that were editing the song, they edited it so that each hi-hat was exactly perfect. And they were like, yo, look at, like, this took like 6 hours to do, man. And it's perfect now. And my dad was like, no, why would you do that? He was so sad. And like, I can really understand how he's feeling with that, because I would hate that, because it's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be human. Like, it's so.
I think we had that conversation in our last podcast. We were talking about records, and I think we were talking about live music and why live music is so cool to listen
Because it's
to.
not perfect,
It sounds like you're there.
Yeah.
And it's not overproduced to the point where everything is perfectly aligned.
Hopefully not.
Which is easy to do nowadays. Like I've played around with GarageBand, and the tools, even in a free program or program that comes with your computer like that, you can actually align everything perfectly to a click track, right? So that's easy to do, but it's not the same quality.
Not as genuine, maybe.
Like I listen to a lot of jazz, and I prefer the ones that are live because jazz is improvised and it's with an audience. It's with people playing off each other, right? And similar to other types of music, you want to kind of hear that camaraderie. So
Definitely.
that's cool. And I think that might be why you're into records as well. Just the crackling and
Yeah, I really like records. I'm very fascinated in how they even work as well. It's kind of unbelievable to me. Just like watching the record spin and that little needle like grazing it. It's like, what? How does that work?
Into a groove, and how does music come out of it? It is amazing.
Yeah. I just got a record player for my birthday in February, and it was like life-changing. It's not just the record player itself and like listening to the records. It's also going and buying records. It's so fun. It's like you get filled with so much excitement when you find a record that you love, and you're like, oh my gosh, they have this here. I need to have it. Whereas like with like phones and all that, you can just go on and online and find the songs. I sound so old. But,
it's like the journey, the adventure of going into the store and the delight in finding something that you didn't expect.
Yeah, it's fun.
There's something to be said for convenience, that it's when it's easy to get something, but then but sometimes having to actually go out and find something or work for it, right?
It feels like a reward.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. What kind of record player do you have?
It's an Audio-Technica record player, and the speaker is Bluetooth, which I find really nice because I can take it wherever.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you know the model number?
No, I'm not sure.
Is it a 60 or a 120?
I don't remember.
Okay, that's okay.
You have an Audio-Technica?
I don't know, but I'm very familiar with their line. Yeah, good record players. Good record players. Yeah.
Cool. Have they advanced since? Like my dad has a really old one that still works. Like what kind of things have changed over time?
Not much. Still, like usually, like the ones that are more popular now, like the Audio-Technicas and Project is another big brand, European brand, and they're just belt driven. Like usually, they're quite simple. Yeah, the needles like that may have improved a bit, and like the stylus and stuff, but basically the same thing. Yeah, yeah.
So
technology
it's still got
hasn't
like a weight on it.
Yeah, depending, you can buy aftermarket weights now too.
Okay,
those are a big thing. I don't have a weight. I don't really feel the need for the weight. I have a friend who has like this giant weight that sits on top.
Isn't it supposed to help it like a counterbalance so that it drops
like it
nicely?
Pushes down on the platter. Yeah, so there's no movement of the actual disc itself is the idea. But that's getting pretty picky, I think.
Yeah.
But teach their own.
Like, it is pretty cool that something that's analog can sound so nice, right? That's been around for a long time.
Definitely.
That can still sound so nice.
Yeah. Do you have, Kaydee, do you have, sorry, when did you say you got the record player?
I got it in February.
Okay, so pretty recently. Do you have, is there one record in your collection that is like your favorite or the jewel of your collection?
Oh, well, there's a lot of good ones. Yesterday, I got OK Computer.
Nice, yeah.
Which was amazing.
Classic.
Yeah. I think, oh my gosh, it's so hard to choose. I went through my grandparents' old records actually, and I found The Doors. That was awesome, but it sounds a little bad because it's
a little scratchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do really like that album. And I think the one that I find I listen to the most is In Rainbows. Just because it's like, it's fitting for like every mood, I'd say. Kind of. I mean, I have Nevermind as well. And that's kind of, you know, you have to be in a certain mood to listen to that. But
Yes, I agree.
I'd say my
Angry teenager
yeah,
mood.
yeah, grungy. But yeah, I would say probably if I had to choose one, In Rainbows, because I listen to that the most.
Nice.
In Rainbows, that was an interesting move for them they released that for free, right? Or by donation, I guess, online.
Yeah.
And I think for a couple of the songs, they actually released the stems so that people could play around with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's really
Yeah, they
interesting.
did.
A vague recollection of that, yeah.
Yeah. You can actually download the different tracks, like all the tracks. And then you could manipulate it, add your own stuff to it, remix it, whatever you wanted to do, which is really cool.
Yeah, that is cool because some artists are very picky with that, and they're like, you know, with copyright and everything, that's very relaxed. It's kind of surprising to me.
Yeah. I think they probably had issues with whoever was managing them or.
Well, I think they just gotten out of the contract with their previous record label, and they were able to do whatever they wanted, right?
Yeah.
With the music, yeah. Because they were one of the first acts too, and I can't remember what album was, but a few years ago, they just released it on their website and sold digital copies, I think, for $10 a piece, and sold like 1 million copies in like a week. And that's what they were saying is no royalties went to any record company or anything. But very few artists could do that.
Right.
And have the audience that would actually pay for it. This was before streaming, I think, was sort of more normalized, but yeah, kind of interesting.
Very innovative in many ways.
That was probably, I've seen Radiohead quite a few times. Well, maybe not quite a few, 4 or 5 times. But that's first time I saw them was the OK Computer tour, which would have been, I think, 1997 or 98. And that's probably one of the best concerts I've ever been to.
So jealous.
It was just because they pretty much played that entire album and then like half of, what's the album before it with the Bends. So they played, I don't know, 10 or 12 OK Computer tracks and then a handful of the Bends, and that was pretty much it. But yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Are you into live music? Do you go to concerts?
Yeah. Yes. I love concerts. They're very fun. I mean, it's just the crowds that are kind of unfortunate. Just because, oh my gosh, at the last concert I went to, I got pushed. It was so sad. It was
like pushed
to
the ground?
Pushed, not to the ground. No. It wasn't that bad. It's just I'm kind of sensitive, so I guess a little shove goes a long way. It was so weird to me though, because it was this grown woman trying to push past me, and sometimes I still have like a child mentality. Yeah. So I'm like, why are you pushing me? I'm a kid. What are you doing? Yeah.
But, so you were on the floor. You weren't in the
we were
seat.
on the floor. Yeah. It was in Seattle. I saw an artist called Still Woozy with my mom. It was part of my birthday present actually. And oh wait, no, that wasn't the last concert I went to. That was in March. But yeah. But anyways, crowd, whatever, it doesn't matter. The music is insane. It's just like it usually gets me actually like kind of emotional being at concerts because like I'll be watching the artists and then I'm just like, man, I want to do that. I want to be up there. Like I hope that someday I can do stuff like that. Just because like it looks like they're having such a great time just like playing for people and then the audience is enjoying it and it's just like I want to be up there. But
you must feel differently being somebody who plays the guitar and plays music, and you probably have a different ear for this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why I feel this way. Because I know that I am capable of doing stuff like that. And so it's just a matter of actually doing things. Because, you know, I can't push it back too much. I've been wanting to record music since I was like 12, I think, like actually seriously. I recorded my first song when I was 12, I believe, because I think I was in grade 7. And it was actually for a school project.
So this is a song you made.
Yes.
Okay.
And I did not want to release it when my mother decided to show it to the world.
Yeah.
She was like, "Can I post it?" And I was like, No, I don't want to. I just had to hand it in, right? I wasn't done writing the song or like making the song. But I just had that copy to hand in, and then I was going to work on it some more, but my mom was like, "Can I post it?" And she posted it on like Instagram or something. And people liked it, but at the time I was quite unhappy with it, cuz I guess I'm kind of a perfectionist, and like I'm like, hearing all of the imperfections and just and I think that's normal in music, but then I listened to it like a couple years later, and I was like, this really isn't that bad. But the thing is, like, I had a deadline, so I was like actively working on this song.
Yeah.
And it's really hard for me to get into recording when there's no deadline or anything, because I'm just like, I'll do it later. But I have to start while I'm young. I have to, like, this right now, I'm realizing how important free time is. Because with all the homework I have right now, it's like I can't really do anything. And so I'm just thinking about how in the summer I'm going to be recording a lot.
Make use of that free time.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I find that with a lot of, because we have a lot of student artists at the school, and there's a clash between, okay, here's a hard deadline, and if they're perfectionists, they have a really difficult time with that, right? Because I'm not ready to give it up to the world.
Especially if
right?
it's something you're passionate about.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's because, sometimes there are deadlines, and how do you deal with that, right? Sometimes it just has to be good enough, and then you, I guess, make it better the next time around, or fix it up later. But yeah, that seems to be a problem that most people who are artists have. So going back to, you said that at 12 you wrote your own song. So going back further than that, like where did your interest in music take off? When did you pick up your first instrument? I'm assuming it was guitar.
It was violin.
It was violin?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, cool.
So,
Okay, go back to the beginning.
I started playing violin when I was 6 years old. So I was, it was like 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And I started playing just because I remember my dad would listen to like Mozart and stuff, just like, because it's awesome. And I would like put on a tutu and dance in the living room with like fancy clothes and everything. And I was like, I want to play the violin. Just as simple as that, kept saying that. And then my parents were actually like, okay, let's do that then. So for my 6th birthday, I got a violin and I started lessons, and I hated it. I did not like it. Oh my gosh, it was really hard for me because like having ADHD as well, like sitting there and like having to do something, it's hard. But
it doesn't look like an easy instrument to play.
No.
I've never tried,
Oh my
but
gosh.
it looks quite difficult.
It really isn't. My son plays violin, and he's been playing violin for quite a long, I guess almost a decade now. But yeah, at the beginning it was not easy at all. There was a lot of practice involved and a lot of standing or sitting, and you have to have a certain posture, otherwise you hurt yourself. You have to have a good ear, so you develop that ear, because there aren't any frets or anything to... At the beginning, they put stickers on your violin so you could figure out where to put your fingers, right? All that kind of stuff. And yeah, you have to have a lot of patience with any instrument, really. So you started with violin. You did not enjoy that.
Yeah, no, not at the beginning. Well, actually, the thing is, I never practiced enough. I never wanted to practice. I would have to be like forced to practice in order to practice. But there were times where I did really enjoy it. And like now I do enjoy going to lessons because I really like my teacher. And like right now I'm actually preparing for an exam that I am going to be having.
Do you still play
early
violin?
June. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you never
I got
gave
the
up?
impression that you were like, oh, this sucks. I'm not doing this anymore.
Oh, no. I've been
wow.
playing for a long time.
Okay, good. So
Yeah,
hard,
no.
but you stuck with it.
Yeah, I
love
did
that.
stick with
That's
it. Yeah.
great.
There was a time where I was considering quitting. I think I was like 9 or something. I don't know how old I was, but then I thought about it and I was like, no, I'm not going to quit. Like, it's really beneficial. And I'm really grateful for like the fact that my parents put me in it, mainly because that's the reason why I got such like a good ear in music and like tuning and everything.
Do you play anything else?
Guitar?
Yeah.
Guitar I started 5 years ago, and I got my electric guitar for my 13th birthday. So yeah, the first song I learned on guitar was Fake Plastic Trees, and my dad taught it to me, and I was pretty good for a starter, mainly because I had violin as like a background, whatever. And yeah, guitar I really enjoy playing because it's like you can sing and play, and it's like you really feel the music. That's the thing. You can't just play music, you have to feel it. And I think that's where that's when I had a problem with violin, because I wasn't as passionate about violin, and that made it kind of hard for me.
Did you do the Suzuki method? Yeah. Okay. So you went through Suzuki, played all those books. What level are you at now? So, do you play in an orchestra?
No.
Okay.
No. Might be cool, but I don't know. So with my exam and everything, it's the grade 6 exam.
Royal Conservatory.
Yeah. But it got delayed, actually. I was supposed to do it like 2 years ago, but then COVID happened, so I couldn't do it. So I've been preparing for this exam for so long, and it's finally happening. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, it's happening. I need to practice. Like, it's crazy how fast it's coming up.
And there's a lot to that exam.
Yes.
It's just practical. It's not theory at this. Are you doing some theory?
We're doing... Well,
theory is a separate thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
What my no, I think we are doing some.
Okay.
What my teacher gets me to practice is like reading notes and then clapping the what is it, tempo or whatever, how the notes are. And also he'll play something on the piano, and then I have to play it back to him, or like he'll play a note and I have to say if it's major or minor, just stuff like that.
Right.
And this stuff is totally different from other things I've been doing in violin. Like usually it's just, okay, here's a new song. Here's how you play it. We're going to play it at the recital. Here's some exercises. But this stuff is like totally different. It's actually, I'm finding it kind of fun because I'm learning a lot. Yeah. And yeah, not to mention the reason why I stuck with violin is because I'm using it as like my ticket into university or a course that I have to take. So my teacher, I know very vaguely about this, but you have to be grade 10 violin to get into like a certain course, and you have to like try out. And I think that is what I'm wanting to do. It's still a while away, but yeah.
So like getting into music studies in whatever school you get into? Cool.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, and I suppose a lot of that theory would help with your composition as well.
Yeah.
Like you like to write music. You wrote a song when you were 12 for a project. Have you gone back to that song, played it again, or changed it?
I haven't changed it at all, no.
Yeah.
I think just because like it got released to the world, and like I was kind of like, okay, well, this is done now.
It's already out there.
Yeah. And I got like compliments on it from like a bunch of moms. And
That's good to have.
yeah. Yeah, it was nice, but it was so strange because I wasn't happy with it myself. But then, like, the thing is, it's actually a good song. Like, it was not bad. I was just, I don't know, but
So you're your own biggest critic, I think, right?
Yeah.
Usually that's how it works with most things. Yeah.
Yeah, with most things, people they notice their own mistakes, but none of the audience noticed.
Yeah.
Right? They're just there for a good time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, performance is not an easy thing for some people, and you seem to do it really well, and you seem to be super comfortable when you're performing, like live at lunch. I assume that you do recitals with your violin as well. Are you nervous when you do that stuff, or
Yes.
like how do you get yourself to do it?
Well, I think when I was younger doing violin recitals, I was never that nervous. It was just kind of a thing that I was doing. I think because I started so young, that's part of the reason why I was never nervous. But then I remember this like specific time. I'm pretty sure there was a break, a pretty long break before I had another recital. And then I went back and I just remember like I was so nervous. Like my legs were shaking and like I was really nervous, but I went up there and did it. And I think even before that, I'm sure I was very nervous as well. But I just remember feeling it the most in that moment. And then from that moment on, I'm always nervous. I get really nervous. But I think to calm myself down, usually I just think like, this is something that I want to do in the future. This is what I want to do. And like, this is how I'm starting. This is like my training, you know?
And so what do you feel you get out of performing for an audience?
Well, once it's over, I feel really happy because it's over. And yeah, but like, I don't know. It's just, there's a difference between like the performances I've done versus concerts and stuff. So like with concerts, the reason I feel so jealous of them is because they're like dancing and like it looks like they're having such a great time. Just like, they're just kind of being themselves, playing music, and everybody loves it. And like, what I'm doing, I'm just kind of going up in front of people, playing my song. That's it. No dancing, no nothing. Like, it's kind of just showing your music and not really showing your personality. And I think that would be really fun in the future to, actually, loosen up and have fun up there. But as of right now, it's just nerves, showing something, and then that's it. And yeah, I feel really happy afterwards if it goes well. But yeah, it's just,
I mean, there's some people who are actors who feel, well, when they act, they're completely comfortable because they are putting on a different persona. And some of those same actors, and whether it's in theater or movies or in TV, they always talk about, well, socially, they're not really, they're not going to walk up to people and start chatting it up with people, but they're very comfortable, being on a stage or which is kind of counterintuitive because you imagine, well, somebody who goes up on a stage with like hundreds of people, that seems more nerve-wracking than, being at a party and chatting with a couple.
Yeah, I wish I didn't get so nervous, man. But like, takes practice and it'll get better.
Right.
Do you get nervous teaching, Mr. Kung? Standing up in front of a class? Or do you remember that ever happening?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I for sure, when I remember when I was student teaching, it was nerve-wracking.
For sure, yeah. But you get over it, right?
I think a lot of it has to do with just having experience.
Confidence, experience.
Like you said, right? Like you have had many performances now, Kaydee, but like when I was first starting off teaching, I didn't know. It was the unknown. Like, is this going to go well? And are they going to just laugh at me? What's going to happen? Am I going to get through this lesson?
Especially with high school students too.
Yeah.
That'd be so nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Man, everybody's so judgy.
Yeah. I remember my first day in class as a student teacher. The first time I had to stand in front of a class, I was super nervous. I was sweating. I was, all the signs of nervousness, and it went okay. But then afterwards, I remember sitting in the staff room going, "Oh my gosh, that I totally bombed. It was terrible. It was terrible. I can't do this."
That's it. I'm going home.
But then another teacher came up to me and said, "It's okay. You just work on it, and you just get better over time. It takes years."
Yeah, like what you just said, Katie. Right? You gotta start somewhere and practice and build up. It is almost like a skill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's something you want to do, like you said, you just do it. You just put your foot forward and do it. Mm-hmm. So that's good to hear. Cool. So you got into guitar. You said your dad was in a band and he played the drums. Your mom musical as well?
Not really. I mean, she loves listening to music and she loves singing, but she doesn't play any instruments. She tried to get into playing piano, but it never stuck. Actually, I kind of forgot about that period of time. When she was learning piano, I was learning ukulele. Mm-hmm. Like we were going to lessons at the same time at Long and McQuaid. And I ended up quitting ukulele to do dance. Mm-hmm. But my mom quit with me, I think just because she wasn't as into it. But I do have like my great grandparents on my mom's side were really musical. Like I know my great grandpa was apparently a really good guitar player, and my great grandma she sang a lot, and she had like a really nice voice. Like her vibrato was really nice. But so I think my musical talents mostly come from my dad.
Uh-huh. Do you know what his band was called?
His band is called By a Thread.
By a Thread. Cool. It's a good name.
Do you know this band?
I don't think so. Yeah. I don't
know. How far did your dad get in this band?
Well, I don't know that much about it. I think because I'm pretty sure they...
Was this just a high school band, or
no? My dad started playing in bands when he was, I believe, like 10 years old. So he was really young. I think I could be wrong, but he was just always playing with people, and it was always with his brother, I believe, and that's where it kind of was hard for him because he was the youngest in the band all the time, and with like older people, like his brother and his brother's friends, it would be really hard to like have a say in everything that's going on. Mm-hmm. So he would try to have some input, but he kind of just get left. So I do know that was hard for him, and that it must have been like something to do with that to be the reason why they stopped playing together eventually. But I'm pretty sure there are other reasons too. I don't know for sure, but I'm just saying what I've heard.
I see.
Yeah. Speaking of siblings, this just, when you said that, popped into my head. That's one more thing I do know about you, is that you have a younger sister, a much younger sister. Yes. And you told me about that. Or no, you wrote, that was a little project you did. In English
at the beginning.
And you wrote about your sister, and it was really sweet. But what's that like? Because your sister is like 2 or 3?
She is 2 years old. She's turning 3 in August.
Okay.
Yeah, August. And
so it's a pretty big difference.
It's a very big difference.
I have twin sisters that are 9 years older than I am, and that's a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
But anyways, maybe you could tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, well, she's great. My stepmom is actually pregnant again, which is kind of crazy because I'm 15. I'm going to be 15 years older than this kid.
Wow.
But my little sister, her name is Eve. Oh my gosh, she's incredible. She sings a lot. If we're sticking with the topic of music, she actually, it's really surprising that she can stay on pitch, and like she has this very smooth voice, like very smooth little voice. And wow. I think she's got something. Even though she's 2, I feel like she has something going for her. But yeah, it's interesting watching her grow, and like especially being older when she was born. I'm kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like I'm watching from like a learner's perspective, sort of. Like, yeah.
Well, you have much more awareness than you would if you were 3 or 5 when she was born, right? It's definitely
Yes.
it would be a different role too, I think, that you would play as an older
A
sibling.
big sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I see how my parents are parenting her, and I like, I also help out with her too. Like, I babysit her occasionally, and I'm with her a lot. She comes up to my room and is like, "Hey, Kaydee, let's build a fort. Come on."
How can you say no, right?
Yeah, it's very hard to say no to her. But yeah, man, kids go through these phases though of like bad phases, man. Like terrible twos. I think she had this phase where she would just always say no matter what.
Yep.
The answer was no. And it was okay. It wasn't that terrible, because she didn't mean no, but she would just say no. But yeah, sometimes she's got some attitude. But it's just who she is.
It's just a phase. Yeah.
Or a phase.
Yeah.
I think like part of it is like building who she is as a person, and then part of it is just like, okay, you'll grow out of this.
They're just testing their boundaries.
Yeah.
And, trying to be a person in many different ways and figuring out who they are as they go, just like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just getting back to guitar, you got an electric guitar when you're 13. How did that change your life?
Oh my gosh. It made my life so much happier. Like,
when you went electric?
oh yeah. I'd been playing acoustic for years, and then my electric, it just like, oh my gosh, I was so happy.
Is it the power?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, okay, typically electric guitars are just so much cooler. Like,
Yeah.
you see
It's true.
someone playing the electric guitar,
distortion,
you're like, they're awesome. Like, with acoustic, it's like, oh, this is so pretty. But then electric is like, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can play so much more. Like, you can learn solos and just a lot of different types of things. And it's really fun. Yeah.
Do you have any favorite guitar riffs?
So right now, I'm really into playing Jigsaw Falling Into Place by Radiohead. It's so fun. Like, because, yeah, it's just so fun. Like, I don't even know how to, there's so many different parts to it. And then at the end, there's this, like, it's kind of like the whole song is almost like a build up to this one part at the end. And the part at the end is just like so fun to play. I don't know how to explain it if you've never heard the song, but
I've probably heard that song.
I know you
can't
have.
recall it.
Yeah. But
their songs are very complex.
yes.
Many different layers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said that the first song you learned was Fake Plastic Trees. What's your favorite cover song to play? If you had to choose just one.
Ooh, that's hard. There's a lot that I want to learn as well. I really like, okay, this is another Radiohead song. It's just fun, but The Bends is really fun to play. Especially because singing as well, it's really awesome, because at the end not at the end, it's like towards the end, he kind of holds a note for a while and then it goes really high. It's like the tone of voice that he gets into is the highest that I can go. Like, because for a girl, whatever, my voice is kind of deep for singing. Like, I can't go super high. So in The Bends, that part where he goes really high pitched for a while, or not, it's not even that high pitched. It's just he's holding this long note. It's the highest I can go, and it makes me feel powerful.
Is that the chorus? Is that Baby's Got the Bends?
That part's fine. It's
I think of the high part.
So it's like Baby's Got the Bends. That part's fine. It's just oh no is hard for me to do. That part's low.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, I can't even go that low. But it's the part that's like, Baby's got the bends. We never had any real friends.
Is it the Friends?
Yeah,
yes,
Friends.
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
so hard.
Yeah, I know. That's right, yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
And
since
then there's
I'm
that like
able-
almost like spoken word part after that too. That is, that's
Oh,
an
yeah,
interesting
yeah,
song. There's a lot to that, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's Tom York singing. Yeah. Good voice.
Yeah.
hmm You did a Feist song at
Yes.
Live at Lunch. Two
Oh,
Live at
that's
Lunches.
right. Was
I
that
did.
Mushaboom, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love Feist. She's
That was
got
a good
such an amazing
performance.
voice. Yeah.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that performance.
Yeah. My little sister really likes that song and it's really cute.
Uh-huh.
Like sometimes she'll come up to my room and I'll be like, "You want to hear a song?" She's like, "Yeah. What song do you want to hear?" Masha Boom.
That's so cool to have a big sister that plays music for you on request.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that song is fun to play too. I remember I had to did I have to play it higher or something? No. I played it normally, I think. Maybe I don't remember. I just remember that the song was kind of hard for me to sing because it was a bit high for me. That's the problem I often have with music. It's like with certain songs, I just can't really sing them because it's too high.
Mhm.
So I have to find songs that fit my vocal range. And then there's also songs that are too low. So it's like, but
Gotta find that
Do you
sweet spot.
transpose
Yeah.
it? Does that help or?
I have with
Put a
other
capo
songs.
on it.
Yeah, I can't remember if I did that with Mushaboom or not. I may have done that, but I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you've been playing guitar for
5 years.
5 years now?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, because you had an acoustic before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're at a point where it seems like you've played enough that you can, like when you were in the hallway playing guitar, I would just ask you to just, okay, can you do this Beatles song? And there you go, right? It's like, have you like gone through entire catalogs of music?
Well,
Like
I don't
think
know.
I think I asked you to play Blackbird.
yeah. Oh,
And-
Blackbird I learned though.
Yeah,
So I
and
did.
I'm surprised because most people finger pick it, like I've learned to do, but you played it the way Paul plays it. I think I mentioned where you kind of you kind of go back and forth with your finger.
Yeah.
So I guess did you watch a tutorial for that, or did you just listen and figure it out?
That was one of the songs that my dad taught me. So
Okay.
my dad learned just from YouTube. That's how I learned too. I never went to lessons.
Yeah,
It's always been just YouTube or my dad.
which is great nowadays. There's
Yeah.
so much stuff out there.
Yeah. But yeah, my dad taught that to me, and I just kind of picked up the pattern. Like the picking patterns have always been easy for me. It's like sometimes I get confused watching people try to learn instruments because it's like, how is this not easy for you?
Right.
Just because I'm used
'Cause
to
you're used to it.
doing stuff easily, I guess.
Mhm.
But yeah, like teaching my friends how to play songs on the guitar occasionally, and like, no, this is the picking pattern. They're like very stiff, and it's like, how can you not do this? But
It's just practice.
yeah, practice.
Yeah,
Practice.
you can't shortcut that.
Still, it's just like, because yeah, I don't know.
So like if you go home today, like how often do you play the guitar? Like is it every day, all the time?
Well,
When you're not doing
I would
homework and
like
other
to.
stuff?
Well, yeah, I do have a lot of other stuff I do, so it's
Yeah.
not like I would say it is one of my main things that I do, my main hobbies. It's hanging up on my wall, so it's convenient to just grab it and play it sometimes.
Yeah.
But
I think that somebody told me that because a lot of people put it in their case.
oh yeah,
They
that
said-
sucks.
I think it was
So
another
bad.
teacher in the district. I did a Pro D workshop with Jim Morrison.
Oh, what?
There was a teacher named Jim
I know
Morrison.
Jim.
Really?
Yeah, I
Do you?
know Jim, yeah.
You know Jim?
Yeah.
But he taught guitar and music, Jim Morrison. So I went to his Pro D workshop, and he said the first thing he said was like, always keep your guitar on a stand or
Yes.
out somewhere. Otherwise, you will never pick it up because there's
Definitely.
the extra step of unlatching your case and taking it out.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah. Out of
So-
sight, out of mind.
Right. So you have it hanging on a rack or something, right?
Yep. Yes.
And so anytime you feel in the mood, you just pick it up and play something.
Yeah. Occasionally I get yelled at though because they're like, Kaydee, why aren't you doing your homework? I'm like, sorry, I was
Turn it
trying to play
down.
quiet.
You taught me how to play.
It's better than a lot of other things people do when in their spare time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. But like balancing that with also like doing art and stuff like that, it gets kind of difficult at times. Well, not difficult. I think because since those are my hobbies, it's like, okay, whatever I feel like doing, I'm going to do. But like stuff to do with school, it's like, ugh.
It's like
But not English or social studies. Yes. Got it.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
The other
English and
classes.
social is best classes.
The other 5 classes, ugh.
or science.
Yep, or science. Science last year. But yeah.
I can imagine for somebody who's so passionate about something, it is difficult to prioritize, right? Because
Yes.
there's things that you have to do,
Yeah.
and things that you really, really want to do.
Sometimes it like makes it feel like other things are not important because it's like, okay, music is what I want to do. Music is like, I really like this. Do I need to learn certain math strategies for this? Do I really need to? Do I really, really need to? No, I don't want to. But yeah, I
Although
guess.
with math, there's a lot of research that says that people who are musical, that somehow it does help with math or logic.
There's a whole
And
genre of like math rock.
there isn't.
Oh, yeah.
What's that? What's math rock?
We got to look it up.
Math
I'm not a
songs.
math
You don't know anything about math rock?
I've heard the term thrown around about certain like guitarists and stuff. The word
What?
math rock, yeah.
They don't
can
sing
Google it,
about
right?
math.
No. No, like from a technical standpoint, I don't know how the math factors into the playing, but it's to do with the playing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
genre.
I'm going to look that up.
Yeah.
Math rock.
No, not songs about math specifically. That would
I
be
was thinking about that.
that would be
I would
interesting
not
too,
listen to
though.
that.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. It's like songs that math. Sometimes math teachers do show songs that have
Yeah?
math. Yeah, so that you remember like
Oh,
certain
yeah.
strategies and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
It's
oh my
just like
gosh, everybody always laughs at them because they're funny. They're not good. They're really bad. Like I remember one time my math teacher showed this like, it was like a was it Justin Bieber themed math thing or something? Or was it? I don't remember. It was some artist and it was like a cover of their song, but in math words, and the dude's voice was bad, and it was just. Ugh,
But like
so
really,
bad.
sometimes really bad jingles stick, right?
Yep.
Like I could tell you, I could hum a few jingles and I would know exactly what product it was for, but it's a terrible song. But it just sticks.
Sticks in your head.
It sticks in your head. It won't leave.
Do you want a definition of math rock? So I've got it.
Sure.
Yes.
Math rock is a style of progressive rock with roots in bands such as King Crimson and Rush, as well as 20th century minimal music
Rush?
composers such as Stevie Reich. Math rock is typified by its rhythmic complexity, seen as mathematical in character by listeners and critics. While most rock music uses a 4/4 meter, math rock makes use of more non-standard, frequently changing signatures such as 5 quarters, 7/8, 11/8, or 13/8. It goes on.
Doesn't Radiohead do a lot of that kind of stuff?
I think you could call that math rock.
Math
by
rock?
that definition. Yeah.
Radiohead math rockers.
There you go.
That's cool. Didn't know about that. We learn something new every day with Sally.
Well, with the podcast, yes, we always come away with something. Yeah.
So, any performances or gigs coming up? Do you find it useful to use a gig to motivate you to work on something?
I don't have gigs.
Well, Live at Lunch is a gig, right?
I want to have like real gigs. That would be
Real
so
gigs,
fun,
yeah.
man. But yeah, because like playing at bars and stuff, I'm
Yeah.
sure that would be fun. But I'm not old enough.
To get into a bar.
No.
Yeah.
But I think with Live at Lunch stuff, like I usually just find a song that I already know how to play and just perfect it And then I'm like, yes, this is cool. I don't learn a new song before Live at Lunch just because it seems harder to do that.
But do you find it easy with a goal?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
That's also similar to with writing my song in grade 7 with the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
It's like deadlines just kind of make it easy. It makes it easier to get stuff done. You know?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sometimes with certain things.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
But that's what I was talking about. The struggle with artists is that, if there was no deadline, then it would just go on forever.
Yeah,
right?
because deadlines can also suck though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't want a deadline because you want to, especially with creative things. Like
yeah.
I find
see
with
that.
music, a lot of the time melodies just come to me randomly. So I just kind of hum them into my voice memo app.
Mhm.
And it sucks when it happens in class though. Because sometimes I just have to like pull out my phone and quietly hum to my phone.
Because otherwise it's gone.
Yeah, I can't lose it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That explains a lot, actually. Yeah.
There's this show on Netflix called Song Exploder.
Oh, yeah.
and,
Yeah, I've seen
and
some of those.
you guys have seen that. And of course they have a podcast as well. And I
I've
think
never-
one of the ones I saw had Lin-Manuel Miranda. He was on a train to a party, and then partway to the party, he had this melody in his head for, I think it was for Hamilton. It could have been for Hamilton. I think it was for Hamilton. Anyways, he had to record it, and then he didn't have a good party because the whole time he was thinking about this song, and he didn't want it to go away. So I think he left early or something like that. But you hear a lot of people who compose music that happens. It just comes and goes. And I can understand, well, if you have a deadline, well, you better come up with the stuff by that deadline. Otherwise, you have to come up with something. But sometimes it just happens at odd times.
Yeah. I remember I saw an interview with Tom Petty once, and he was saying he always carried a notebook with him. And then he would just write down as things would come to him. And he said he would sometimes wake up and open his notebook, and there'd be stuff that he had woken up in the middle of the night and written down and didn't even remember.
Yeah.
Something he had dreamed or whatever. And then
A lot of times garbage, but
Probably,
sometimes there's good
Yeah.
stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually do that too. I have my journal with me all the time.
Yeah.
And last year I remember I had a different journal, and I had pages or one page at the very back of my journal that I would just write down random stuff. Actually, in my notes app, I have a note that's just a bunch of random stuff that I find either like poetic or like, I don't know. Yeah, usually it's just things I think sound funny. Like I can read some.
Sure.
Like some of them are really weird, but
Well, didn't Paul McCartney famously come up with Yesterday After a Dream?
yeah, it was about his. Wait, what was it? Wait, no, maybe that was a different one.
I think you're thinking like Let It Be was about
That was about his mom.
But his mom.
Yep.
Yeah. And then yesterday, I think he woke up from a dream, and somehow the melody was in his head, so he got to the piano right away and wrote it down. Otherwise, there would be no
other
yesterday.
people in the house maybe were not as enthralled with him. But
Yeah, I think that's the
not.
love-hate relationship with musical artists.
Yeah.
They have their own creative process, right?
Okay, we're pulling back the curtain though now here.
Okay.
We're looking into the mind of the artist.
Yes.
Okay, take it away.
Let's see your
You're
notes.
up, Katie.
All right, so this note I have is titled Weird Things. I have, at first it's just a bunch of funny things. Like the first thing I have is just a boat on wheels. Don't know why, but when we're getting, let me find, some really random. Let's see. So the bottom I have time to process, not time to forget. I think because I thought that, and then I was like, that actually makes sense. I'm going to write that down. The cat in the window, just because I saw a cat in the window, and I was like, I should write a poem about that. So I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget, because I do write poetry.
Cats do like windows. I've
Yeah.
noticed that too. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah, then I have the chicken on 1/12. This is
Does
because
someone on 1/12 have a chicken in their yard?
yep,
Okay, there you go.
and that is why I wrote that, because my mom was like, "Have you heard of the chicken on 1/12?" And she was like, "We're gonna drive past that area now. You should look there." And then I was like, "What? There's a chicken on 1/12?" And I was like, "I'm writing that down. That's awesome."
Good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just observations for future lyrics, right?
Yes.
Or poems.
Yep. I think that's all I'm going to read because I have a bunch of really random stuff that don't make any sense. But
I when I was in high school, I used to do that, like for poetry and things, just ideas. And like I look at it now, it's like, what was I thinking? Because often it would be like first thing in the morning. And first thing in the morning, you're not completely there. So, but sometimes that's great. Sometimes you come up with the most creative stuff at that moment. Yeah.
The chicken on 1/12th. Be like a person, maybe.
could be.
Yeah.
The chicken is a person?
Well, like a person being a chicken, like they're scared of
Oh,
someone on 1/12th
double
is a
meaning.
chicken. Yeah. That's what I'm
Okay.
thinking.
Work that into your lyrics, Kaydee.
Maybe they're afraid of the actual chicken
Uh-huh.
on
Wow.
1/12th.
Yeah.
Multiple chickens.
There you go. Yeah. Wordplay.
Wordplay is awesome.
Yes.
So you're looking forward to some gigs in the future.
Yeah, at all the bars.
You're only in grade 9.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh,
You're only
not
It'll come soon enough.
not that
Don't
excited
worry.
to go to bars. Don't worry.
To
Yeah.
work, to play music.
To
That's
work.
fine. We'll give you
but
that.
you could
We'll give
you
that
could
pass.
do weddings. You could do other
Weddings,
stuff.
that would be awesome. But
Yeah?
I don't know.
That could be.
It'd
Yeah,
be
then you
a
could
lot
make
of
some.
pressure.
You could make
The
some money.
Wedding Singer, like Adam Sandler, right? Have you seen
Yeah.
that movie?
No.
Oh,
Oh,
Kaydee,
you have
come
to.
on. It's excellent.
There's some good.
Especially if you enjoy sort of not genre music, but it's set in the 1980s and it's got a very 80s soundtrack in it. It's really funny.
Yeah, it's quite funny.
Yes.
Yeah, that could be
You should
you.
watch it.
Yeah.
If you appreciate older music, as you say, although I don't consider the 80s really old, but maybe that's because I'm old. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Even you calling Radiohead old, I was like, geez, John. come
Radiohead
on.
is old.
I'm pretty sure Mr. Kung said that. Yeah.
Man.
They've been around
The
for a
Beatles,
while.
I'll give you that. That's old. Radiohead.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, 20.
They've
Yeah, they're
been
probably
around.
closing in on 30 years, actually.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's old,
Yeah, I guess that is old. Yeah.
but they're still around. They're still doing cool stuff.
I actually saw a picture of Tom York just the other day online because he's got some new music out. I think not under the Radiohead, but they're using a different name, right? Like
Yeah.
he's kind of got a side
Yeah.
project, and he did. Actually, my thought was, oh, he looks kind of old. I don't know how tall. I would assume he's in his early 50s now, but I don't know
Yeah.
exactly how old
Yeah.
he is. But I would assume early 50s. But yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh yeah, he's aging.
But even
as we all are.
the remaining Beatles are still kicking around too.
Well,
the
there's
Rolling
only
Stones.
2 left, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get into the Beatles? It was through your parents, right?
Yeah, my dad always listened to the Beatles.
Yeah.
So I grew up listening to it and just never really went away. I've always really liked them.
The thing about the Beatles and their 200 plus songs is just there's so much variety in there, right? They had different stages and just so much variety. Unlike some artists where every song almost sounds the same.
Yeah.
So, and did you finish watching Get Back?
I didn't finish. We've only watched the first one so far.
Okay.
We want to watch more, but the thing
So like
is
6 hours left.
time. And, yeah. I got to finish that.
I could not stop watching.
Unpopular opinion. You know where I'm going with this now, but
No,
I've
I
never
don't.
I've never been the biggest Beatles fan, and I don't dislike the Beatles by any stretch, and I completely respect where they started and what has evolved from them. But yeah, I just never really, other than a handful of songs, and I really like Paul McCartney. I think he's a great performer and great singer and that, but just never my favorite. I've always preferred the Rolling Stones over the Beatles. Just that edgier kind of, I don't know, just something about that attitude. And then when I used to, that was my go-to, being the rebellious person I am. If people would say, who do you like better, the Beatles or the Rolling Stones, which is the age-old question, I would always say the Clash, because that was sort of like my, kind of that old punk rock attitude.
I would think you would like Lennon more than McCartney then.
Yeah, you would think, yeah. I don't know, something about Paul's voice. I don't know. I just like him or not. And again, I don't dislike John Lennon by any means. I think he's very talented and great at what he did. But I prefer Paul McCartney's singing voice to John Lennon's.
Yeah. And the Beatles they still amaze me because so many songs, so many good songs, well-written songs, but for such a short time that they were together, they made so much music. And when you watch Get Back, that was like the end. And they were in their 20s.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What?
Yeah.
But yeah, you should finish watching that. It's just, you're a fly on the wall and you see them come up with music that you know. So
it's amazing that footage, one, exists, and two, was never used for anything. It
was used for a documentary.
But not to that extent.
Not to that extent. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson did that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's good at documentaries now. Yeah. So Kaydee, anything you're working on for the next Live at Lunch? Are you doing the next one if there is one?
I hope so. Last time the only reason I didn't do it is because I didn't know about it until the day before. So I saw it on like the TV in the hallway. It was like Live at Lunch tomorrow.
You're like, what?
Oh,
you think by now people would be calling you. Your agent would call you.
Yeah,
hey, there's a Live at Lunch coming up.
Where's my agent? Where's Bonikowski?
Bonikowski?
He's gotta tell me.
You're supposed to tell Kaydee.
I think there is one more planned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For a
That's
couple weeks from
Maybe
now.
I'll do something.
3 weeks or something.
Yeah, you
from
should.
now.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do
Bust
something.
out the ukulele?
No.
Okay.
Maybe guitar.
Oh.
I can't play like you.
I've seen you
cannot.
play the trumpet, and I've seen you play the ukulele.
Trumpet.
Yeah.
And maybe the piano a little bit?
Yeah.
I've never seen you play a guitar, though.
I started on piano.
Yeah.
Started on piano. I did Royal Conservatory in piano. But thinking back now, I wish I played jazz. I wish I learned how to improvise. It's not too late, but I'm still trying to figure out, I have to get tips from Mr. Grimsey. Because he surprised us all.
He tickled those ivories.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew that he had a background in that. He had mentioned it before, but
I heard about that before.
But I'd never seen him play. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I assumed he was good, given that the background he had in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, anyways, Kaydee, I'll let you go because you've got places to
got
to
some
go.
practicing to
do.
Yeah.
Some homework to finish.
Oh, yeah. Man.
But we hope to see more of you in the future. You're very talented, and we wish you best in your future career as you move towards it and do the things that you have to do to get there.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Thanks for coming.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.